What's up and welcome to the video. I'm Dr. Daniel Ricciardi, gut health expert, licensed pharmacist, fitness enthusiast, and creator of SIBO Shortcut, the program that helps you get rid of bloating and digestive symptoms from SIBO quickly and easily. Today's video is going to be on Helicobacter pylori, better known as H. pylori. We're going to look at the available research studies to determine which foods can fight H. pylori and if they're strong enough to do so on their own as treatment without the use of additional supplements or medications. To give you a little bit of background on H. pylori, it's a bacteria that colonizes the lining of your stomach. This bacteria is very prevalent in many countries all around the world. A lot of people have a low level of H. pylori in their body and they just never realize it because it never increases to a level where it causes them any issues. But in people that do have issues, it does cause a lot of gastritis, which is stomach pain. It is the most common cause of stomach ulcers, and it can even cause ulcers in the intestine as well. To give you some numbers, it's likely responsible for about 90% of intestinal ulcers and about 80 to 90% of stomach ulcers. Antibiotic regimens and herbal treatments are currently the most popular treatments for H. pylori. A typical antibiotic regimen, also known as quadruple therapy, includes 2 antibiotics, 1 proton pump inhibitor, and another agent called bismuth. On the other hand, a typical herbal regimen may include products such as mastic gum, oil of oregano, probiotics, and various other supplements. If you're curious to check out an effective herbal H. pylori regimen, you can click the link here for a video. All right, now let's look at some studies. As a quick note, there have been a lot of foods that have been studied to impact H. pylori growth when done in lab experiments, also known as in vitro studies. But for the purpose of this video and because the data is available, I'm only going to be including research studies that looked at actual humans that had H. pylori infections. The first food that we're going to look at is broccoli sprouts with the active ingredient of sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is a chemical that has been widely researched for H. pylori, and there's a lot of good data supporting its use. This 2009 study by the Cancer Prevention Research Journal looked at the effect that eating broccoli sprouts had on 48 patients that were affected with H. pylori. As a quick note, the title of this article mentions mice, but these 48 people that I'm going to be talking about are indeed humans. In this study, each patient consumed 70 grams, which is about 2.5 ounces, of broccoli sprouts daily for 8 weeks. And the results found that intervention with broccoli sprouts, but not with placebo, decreased the levels of urease measured by the urea breath test and H. pylori stool antigen, both biomarkers of H. pylori colonization, and serum pepsinogens 1 and 2, which are biomarkers of gastric inflammation. And then it says values recovered to their original levels 2 months after treatment was discontinued. Therefore, in this study, 70-gram daily intake of broccoli sprouts for 8 weeks seemed to work for reducing, but not permanently eliminating H. pylori. After 2 months of not eating broccoli sprouts, the levels of H. pylori seemed to increase back to where they were originally before the study began. Why do we need to use broccoli sprouts instead of regular broccoli, which is probably easier to find in most grocery stores? Simply put, broccoli sprouts contain a much higher level of sulforaphanes than broccoli. I've seen various comparisons and numbers online, but it seems like broccoli sprouts contain 10 to even 100 times more sulforaphane than regular broccoli. And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to eat 10 pounds of broccoli every day. Moving on to other foods that may be effective against H. pylori, we have cranberry juice. This 2005 study by Helicobacter journal investigated the utility of cranberry juice for H. pylori infection. Patients were all diagnosed for H. pylori via a urea breath test, which is a common way to diagnose H. pylori. Then they were given either 2 250 milliliter juice boxes of cranberry juice every day or a placebo every day for 90 days. This study found that at day 35 of intervention, 14 of the 97, or 14.43%, from the cranberry juice treatment group and 5 of the 92, about 5% of the placebo recipients, had negative urea breath test results. After 90 days, the study concluded that 14 of the 97 subjects in the cranberry juice treatment group versus 5 of the 92 in the placebo group yielded negative test results. This means that in this study, cranberry juice seemed to treat H. pylori infections in 14% of the patients. It is unclear if the infection returned months later after discontinuing the cranberry juice because the study did not extend that long. So it was clear that cranberry juice is better than the placebo, but at 14%, it doesn't seem to be a very robust treatment. The next food that we're going to look at is olive oil. This 2012 study by Helicobacter journal looked at how well virgin olive oil worked for treating H. pylori. In this study, patients were given 30 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons, of washed olive oil per day for 14 14 days. By definition, washed probably means that it's undergone slightly more processing and separation techniques. After this first round of treatment, patients stopped taking olive oil for 16 days, and then they did a second treatment round of 14 more days with unwashed olive oil. Unwashed likely means that there is a lot less processing, and olive oils such as these typically have a much stronger, more robust taste. The results of this study indicate Helicobacter pylori was eradicated in 8 of 30 individuals when microorganism status was checked after 4 to 6 weeks from the first clinical intervention, although 12 of 30 individuals did not show H. pylori infection at 24 to 72 hour of the last oil dose. Eradication rates were 27 and 40% by intent to treat and per protocol respectively. This means that per this study, 40% of people tested negative for H. pylori immediately after finishing the second round of olive oil treatment, and 27% of people still tested negative for H. pylori when they were retested 4 to 6 weeks after finishing the second round of unwashed olive oil treatment. So per this study, virgin olive oil seems to have moderate efficacy at treating H. pylori infections. And if you're wondering if the type of olive oil specifically matters, from doing some additional research on this topic, it seems like using extra virgin olive oil would also be included in this category as effective. And as one final note on this, some patients in the study were unable to complete the full treatment, and the reason was the bitter taste of the olive oil and also feeling nausea. Okay, and the final food that we're going to look at is cow's milk. The active ingredient in cow's milk against H. pylori is a protein called bovine lactoferrin. This 2005 study from the Journal of Infection and Chemotherapy looked at how good lactoferrin was at eliminating H. pylori. This study had patients take 200 milligrams of bovine lactoferrin in capsule form twice daily for 12 weeks. For reference, it's estimated that about 240 milliliters or 1 cup of cow's milk contains between 25 and 75 milligrams of bovine lactoferrin. So if we assume that the average amount of lactoferrin in each cup is right smack in the middle at 50 milligrams per cup, the dose of milk that you need to drink would be 4 cups or 1 liter twice a day, which is quite a bit of milk unless you really like milk, and then in that case, this is pretty awesome. The results of this study show positive response was defined as more than 50% decrease of the urea breath test value at the end of administration. Positive response was observed in 10 of 31 bovine lactoferrin treated subjects, or 32%, and 1 of 28 control subjects, or about 4%. Interestingly, in the study, they considered a successful treatment to be only a 50% reduction in H. pylori when measuring with the urea breath test. With this said, 32% of the patients taking lactoferrin experienced this 50% reduction, whereas only 1 person or 4% had a positive response with the placebo. So it seems like cow's milk has some efficacy against H. pylori for sure, but ultimately this study didn't actually measure if this cow's milk protein lactoferrin could eliminate H. pylori overgrowth. It only looked at a 50% reduction. And to do this at home, you'd really have to love drinking milk. In summary, after significant research, these were the foods that I could find that showed promising results in actual humans when seeing if they could actually eliminate an H. pylori overgrowth. We looked at 4 foods, which were 1 broccoli sprouts, 2 cranberry juice, 3 virgin olive oil, and 4 cow's milk. As I mentioned, all 4 of these seem to have some impact on H. pylori. However, due to the H. pylori elimination rates and the recurrence rates of H. pylori in these studies, I'm not overly convinced that only using these foods as treatment would be the best way to go. Keep in mind that everyone's body is different, and clearly it is definitely possible that H. pylori can be eliminated eating only these foods, as evidenced by these studies. And doing so would eliminate the need for prescriptions, supplements, and would probably save a lot of money. And these factors are definitely very noteworthy. But I'd say that I still would prefer probably doing a more standardized treatment, either with antibiotics or herbal antimicrobials. And this is because per research studies, they have a much higher success rate at eliminating an H. pylori overgrowth. However, it certainly seems that incorporating these foods into your diet while doing the antibiotics or antimicrobial herbs may work to have a higher success rate at eliminating H. pylori, and you may be able to do it in a shorter period of time as well. That is all for today. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel for more related content. I post a new full-length video every Monday and YouTube shorts throughout the week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.